In today's quick video, let's talk about melatonin. Let's dive in. So, melatonin is an endogenous hormone, meaning that it's a hormone that we produce in our body. It is produced in the brain by the pineal gland. Melatonin helps to regulate the body's circadian rhythms, it helps with your sleep patterns, it helps with endocrine secretions, and it actually comes from the amino acid tryptophan. Long story short, tryptophan goes to serotonin and then serotonin converts into melatonin. So sometimes making sure that we have enough of the precursor of tryptophan is often an approach to produce either more melatonin or serotonin. Even though melatonin is a hormone, it's actually available over the counter here in the US. Now, just because it is available over the counter here in the US, again, I'll say does not mean that it's safe or appropriate for you. So please check with your healthcare provider when looking at dosages or duration for melatonin because the dosage can vary wildly depending on what we're treating. Now, even though melatonin is a hormone that is produced in our body, it is often synthesized in a lab and comes in many types of tablets or sublingual forms and even is available in IV preparations. Again, dosages are going to vary wildly. I see anything from half a milligram up to 10 or 20 milligrams plus. And again, varying wildly on the condition that you're working with. This is one of the supplements I've seen to be safe and effective for both children and women during pregnancy, but again, talk with your provider first. Now, we all know melatonin as something that helps with sleep, and we'll get into that in a second, but let's talk about some of the other properties first. One of the biggest properties of melatonin that lends itself to so many uses is the fact that it is a powerful antioxidant. As an antioxidant, it helps to scavenge free radicals and also helps to prevent oxidative stress and the damage from oxidative stress. Some studies even show that it is more effective as an antioxidant than even our vitamin C or glutathione. But what's really interesting is that it almost acts as a synergizer, making our other antioxidants more effective. Now, because of this antioxidant properties, we often see it being used in cancer treatment. We see it being used as a hepatoprotective or protecting the liver. We see it being used in the cardiovascular system to help prevent the effects of cardiovascular disease. And we also see it being used in neurological conditions, things like Alzheimer's, and also can help protect neurons. So we often see it being used after stroke as well. There is also some research about melatonin being used as an analgesic, so something helping with pain. Some of the research points to the fact that it can indirectly activate opioid receptors, and it can help tamp down the pathway of COX-2 or cyclooxygenase 2 type pathways, which are often involved in pain pathways. Another potential benefit of melatonin is its use in GI type effects. I have seen it used in GERD, dyspepsia, IBS, IBD, and ulcerative colitis. I often use this one in treating GERD or heartburn because it can inhibit the gastric acid secretion. So that's the stomach acid that kind of boils up when we have heartburn. And it can also help with that lower esophageal sphincter relaxation, which is often a common culprit when people have heartburn. Now, there are a couple of controversial uses for melatonin in which studies seem to be conflicting. And those are things like using it for its anti-diabetic effects. Some studies show, especially in type 1 diabetes type patients, that it can actually increase glucose levels, but in type 2 diabetics, it can actually help to regulate or decrease blood glucose levels. So more research is needed, again, for appropriate dosage and duration for things like that. Another instance of this and where we see conflicting studies is with blood pressure. Some studies show that it raises blood pressure. Some studies show, especially when taken at night, it can help to lower blood pressure. But I think, again, talk with your professional first before trying to address any of these conditions with using a supplement like melatonin. Now, most people are able to tolerate melatonin, but side effects can include dizziness, nausea, and GI upset. And one big thing that I noticed, which is why I personally cannot take melatonin, is because it can cause night terrors in some people. And I'm talking not just nightmares, but actual crazy, vivid, really disturbing dreams. And people who are on anticoagulants or anticonvulsants, there is some controversy about whether melatonin can make these conditions worse or interfere with these medications. So again, talk with your healthcare provider before just going up and picking this one up. And of course, no discussion of melatonin is finished without talking about its effects on sleep. Again, it being a natural hormone that's produced in our body, it's produced by our pineal gland. And when melatonin is synthesized or produced, it makes us sleepy. It helps to regulate our circadian rhythm. So as we go to bed at night, generally speaking, and as the sun or the light source starts to fade away, our cortisol production goes down and our melatonin production goes up. That's what makes us feel sleepy and starts to signal us to be ready for bed. So of course, taking exogenous or capsule form or sublingual form of melatonin is going to help you feel that sleepy feeling, but it does not help with you staying asleep. So it's often used for insomnia or for people who have difficulty sleeping, often used for things like jet lag as well and changing time zones. Now, how do I use this one? I use it often for helping people troubleshoot their sleep. It's generally well tolerated, but for some people it does not work very well, or they don't really feel anything. That's when I generally will play around with dosage or need to cycle out other herbal options for sleep. And again, some people can't tolerate it because it gives them night terrors. Another way I use this one in office is in conjunction for treatment with GERD, especially if we're tapering off of a PPI or any type of other heartburn medication. Let me know down in the comments below about your experience with melatonin. And if you have any questions, of course, leave them down below. All right, I hope that this video was helpful and that you learned something. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye.